Once he gave me the instructions and I did the rough and they approved the rough, which was just about the hardest minute of my life, because you never know. You don't, and you guys gave me the go, and now it's like, everybody get out of my way, and I did. I put every single part of my being into that one.
It's a big painting.
Not only was it a big physical painting, it was a big career painting, and I knew it from everything, every word he said, all the people around me. This is not small time. This is something big, so you better take it seriously, and I did. And what I brought him was the best I could possibly do at that time. And then he took over. And when I saw it, I think a month later, my wife and I were walking at a mall. We walked past the music store, and from floor to ceiling, the windows must have had 200 Destroyer covers on them. Now, I did the work, but you took the blue in the background and made it lighter. That's what you do. But that, I mean, good, it's all wonderful. But here I'm looking at a cover and I see blue right away and I'm going, and then I realize, oh my God, this is mine. And that was it for me. I was just like, I have no idea now. And I did not know it went double platinum. I did not know how rich the guys got, how fast.
Destroyer made Kiss world famous. Alive put them over the top, barely, and then when Destroyer came out, they became world famous. 1976, Kiss ruled the world.
Yep. And I didn't know a thing about it. Honest to God, I went back to my job, and except for one thing, the phone started ringing off the hook. Why does it wrong? Why? They like horror guys? What's going on?
Ken owes everything to me.
Yes, I do. I still feel it was just fate that of all the covers he had in that store, he saw the one. And of that was I used to do 2 covers a weekend for Warren. You got to do them fast. You got to just I loved the little robot. It was kind of like an ordinary robot, so I took a little extra time on the face and I said, look, this created emotion, and that's what picked up on it. So those few extra minutes, look what it brought. Here we are 40-something years later, and we're still together, so yeah, that's how I feel.
Are you bored yet?
Are you bored yet? I'm done.
Hi guys, so my name is Robert Conte. My experience with Kiss started approximately in 1990. My friend Greg Fox and I, we decided that, this was during the non-makeup years of Kiss, and we decided, hey, we're going to do an underground Kiss comic, just the two of us together. We wrote and drew a Kiss comic in about 2 weeks. And we had sent it off to a company called Revolutionary Comics. They had done an unofficial Guns N' Roses comic and a Metallica comic. They got, nationwide media coverage. So the publisher called me and said, hey, I love what you guys did. We're going to publish it. And I said, oh my God. So within, 2 or 3 months after sending in this artwork on spec, we did it totally for free. It was in stores, and it went to first printing, and second printing, third printing, and fourth printing. I had the pleasure of meeting Kiss backstage at the Revenge preview concert. I think it was at the Ritz in '92, and I was able to get backstage, and I saw the concert with Gene's mother, Florence, was standing right next to me, and I just happened to say, hey, is there any possible way I could meet your son? And she's like, oh, yes, and she grabbed my arm and pulled me to him, and I said, oh, hi, my name is Robert Conte, and he goes, you did that bootleg Kiss comic. Bootleg? Yes, I didn't get any money out of it, it's a bootleg. I'm like, I'm so sorry, forgive me. He walks away, and his manager, Larry Mazer, gives me his card and says, oh, we should talk sometime. About a year goes by, and Kiss is doing a signing at Tower Records out in Carr Place, Long Island. And I had said, let's go see the band if we can. Larry Mazer recognized me and said, hey, Gene wants to talk to you again. And I went backstage, back to where the band was hanging out after the signing. And he said, hey, listen, we're about to do a Kiss acoustic convention tour. And, you showed your love for the band by doing this comic book and taking a huge risk. So I want you to work with a guy named Tommy Thayer who's working with us to set up the Kiss conventions, the acoustic Kiss conventions. So I found myself, living in Los Angeles, originally from New York, and Tommy and I put together the first 3 or 4 Kiss conventions, the Los Angeles one, the Seattle one, the Portland one, which didn't sell enough, so it was actually canceled. A few people don't realize that some of those Kiss conventions got canceled. But during that time, I was handpicked by Gene to help remaster and repackage the entire Kiss catalog from the first album up through, we did through Hot in the Shade. I don't know why Hot in the Shade was never released, but we, Up to Crazy Nights is officially in the stores. And then from that point, when the band decided to put the makeup back on, I was officially ordained the Kiss catalog consultant. And for about 2 to 3 years, not only was I in charge of working with the record company and McGee Entertainment to make sure the records came out okay, but I also helped package some of the merchandise during the reunion tour, and I did a lot of uncredited stuff as well. And then when that was over, I had formed my own company called Studio Chikara, and we did books based on rock photographers' work, like Barry Levine. We did a whole book on his stuff, and then a whole book on Chip Rock stuff. And then I had worked with other publishers, and all of a sudden I became a pop culture consultant, working for different companies like Toho and Godzilla. As a matter of fact, Ken probably doesn't know this, but when I met with Toho in LA, I'd given them a poster that Ken painted of Godzilla and Rodan way back in 74, was it? 74, 75? And to this day, that is in, to this day, that poster is still in Toho's offices. If you go to Toho's LA office, it's actually in their conference room. It's one of the few 4 or 5 shots of Godzilla they have painted on the wall. But the real gist of this is that I was a fan. I was a Kiss fan ever since I was a little kid, buying the baseball, the non-sport cards when I was like 8 years old. And to be a fan who actually got to be handpicked by a member of the band to work with them, I'll never forget, as long as I live, flying from New York to LA to have Gene Simmons pick me up at the airport, take me to his house, work for 2 days straight in his guest house with a designer, Susan McGowan, on the History book. And then from that point on, having, at the time, unlimited access to Gene and sometimes Paul was just a Kiss fan's dream come true. So after all these years, here we are 20 years later since the reunion tour, I get contacted by fans all the time. Are you ever going to do a book? Are you ever going to be interviewed? And I finally decided this year, this is the time to do it. So I started writing the book about 2 weeks ago. I hope to have it out next fall. And if you go on my website, robertvconte.com, you'll find additional details about it. But I'm looking forward to it, and to have gone to these conventions since 1987, and to see a lot of you that I've recognized since back then, and to see your kids grow up, and now meeting some of your grandchildren. I mean, it's just so amazing to me that here we are, Kiss Army is strong 40 years later, right? Yeah, exactly. So.
Let's give it up for these guys right here. All right, this is history right here, or history as we'll call it.
Yeah, I went to at least 2 of the shows on the Monster Tour. I mean, Kiss has evolved so many times. I've seen Kiss at least 100 times in my lifetime. To see the band evolve, I mean, Kiss will, until Kiss is done, Kiss is always going to evolve to some point or another. For me, it's hard to see a Kiss without Paul and Gene, but they say it's inevitable, so mentally I'm preparing for it. But you know what? In the 80s, when they said there would never be a reunion, hence the reunion happened. So, you never know what's going to happen. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
This is true. Remember, anything that can happen will happen. So you keep your fingers crossed, you hope for what you hope for, and see what happens. But let's give it up for these guys right here. They've been great. And we're going to have some more guests coming up in a little bit. And please enjoy the rest of this expo.